Hello and welcome. Today's July 19th, 2023, and you are at the Million Mom Movement Lunch and Learn, our special monthly Wednesday call. My name is Michelle Ricci, and I'm joined and supported by a fellow council member here, Naiva Flore. We have two very special guests today, Angelo Dieso and Veronica Beltran, and I'm so excited for this call. Angelo is a servant in the Most High, and we're here today to talk about the omnipresence of toxicity in everything we as a society consume, as well as the overabundance of sweeteners and how these things aren't just in our foods, but they're in our skincare and they're in our personal products and they're in our cleaning supplies. And so we're going to get into today just how to really have a safer, less toxic summer. We have so much to talk about. So I'm going to start by bringing Angelo up. And Angelo, hello and welcome. And thank you so much for joining us on this topic. You want to just give us a little insight as to who you are and why this topic is so important to you?
Thank you so much, Michelle. Thank you, Naiva, all the Million Mom community, and everybody on this call. I appreciate you having me here today. It's a real honor. Anything to promote health, organic nutrition, and just better living is something I'm all about. So when I was invited, I was like, yes, thank you so much. So basically, my name is Angelo Dieso. I'm a New England native. I've been living in Portland, Oregon for the last 25 years. And I guess if I was going to sum up my health story in just a couple of words, it would be that I am a brain tumor survivor. I don't like to identify as a person that has cancer of any sort or a brain tumor, but I think it's important that's something that happened in my life that has set me more fervently down the path that I'm on to promoting and purveying organic living and optimal health. So I know a lot of the people on this call right now are already plugged into this movement, and some of what I'm going to share is probably old hat for you. But if there's anyone out there that anything that I say resonates, I'm grateful enough to share it. So thank you again. And yeah, I work with Purium Health Products. I found them about 3 years ago. I'm always looking for health hacks and ways to optimize my health and the health of others, especially people close to me. I see that my mother's on the call today. Hi, Mom. What's up? Good to see you here. So when you can touch the lives of people close to you that you love the most, that's one of the most important things, I think, for me, is being able to share this journey with people close to us. Because I'm sure a lot of you know that family and friends and people that you've known from when you were younger, they typically are least receptive of the message because they only know you in a past version of yourself, or maybe they're leading a different life and you have certain things that connect you with them. But it's been a real honor to get my mom involved with this movement and a few other members of my family. So starting from there, if you can touch those people closest to you, you can touch a lot more people, because the way this business model works with Purium, it's also a network marketing business. And I'm not here to talk about the business so much today, but I wanted to say that if you're interested in helping more people, Purium is a great way to touch multiple lives just through a few people that you might know that are receptive of the message of organic nutrition and organic health. So for me, I have no formal education in health whatsoever, except I'm just a deep thirst for learning, especially in light of my 2013 diagnosis with a brain tumor. And I'm like, how could I have gotten a brain tumor diagnosis that day in September 2013 when I woke up in a hospital bed after suffering a very traumatic a series of epileptic seizures, and then woke up in a hospital, not really clear where I was or what was going on. And also having had a brain biopsy in that process, not remembering consenting to it, and just some little flashes of what happened on that journey. Now, I was eating plant-based or vegan lifestyle for 18 years prior to my diagnosis. And I think plant-based is a great way of cleansing the body, nourishing the body with real foods. But I think a problem with a lot of the foods that we're seeing today is that there's a lot of processed foods with ingredients like fillers and binders and excipients, irradiated ingredients, emulsifiers, non-GMO foods, which are probably the ones I say look out for the most. So I think that where I went wrong on my journey as a vegan, as I wouldn't even have leather or any animal products around me, is that I wasn't looking at the bigger picture that I missed. And one of those things that I missed was staying away from the processed foods, the ingredients, the everyday toxins that we're going to talk a little bit about today. And also the things that you don't really think of when you're thinking about your health, because a lot of us just think about it as food, but there's a lot of other things that comes into account: environmental toxins, and just exposure to these little things that bioaccumulate in our lives over time. So for me to ask my doctor, why did I get this tumor? Like, how did this happen to me with all that I've been trying to do with my health and my life? A little bit more background on me is I used to work in the craft brewing industry. I live in Portland, Oregon. That's a big thing here. It's a part of the culture. I think there's more than 100 craft breweries in Portland city. It's like more than any other city in the world. And so it's easy to plug into that lifestyle. And I wasn't ever really a big drinker, but also just being a part of that culture, you are drinking a little bit every day. And as you guys know from watching some of these calls, drinking beer and drinking wine is, I guess all things in moderation is all right, but we have to understand that alcohol is a neuro and gut toxin. So our bodies do not thrive on alcohol, despite what some people might say or think. I'm totally a staunch advocate that we should not be drinking at all. And we all do our best that we can. So I'm not trying to say you should be shamed if you're drinking a glass of wine here or there, but I'm stressing the message that these foods are not just toxic. These drinks are not just toxic because of the alcohol in them, which that's a big thing. But also when you look at beer and wine, there's a lot of other toxins involved. For example, knowing what I know about the craft beer industry that I worked in, most of the grains that are used, and we know a lot of people are having allergies towards gluten these days. And the people that know that it's not so much about a gluten insensitivity, it's about a hybridized wheat strain and a glyphosate intolerance. So America and Canada are leading the world in spraying this chemical. And I saw in the news just recently that there's a lot of opening to glyphosate, which is the chemical found in Roundup weed killer. It's a chemical, it's a desiccant, a weed killer, and an antibiotic that's widely used. So in all beer and wine, for the most part, unless you can find a very, very small amount that's biodynamically grown and organic, is not only with that alcohol in it, but it also has a large load of glyphosate. Beer, especially because of all the malted barley in there and wheat, and also hops. Hops not only, especially for men, it raises estrogen levels in men. It also it disrupts the gut through all of the not just the gut, I'm sorry, the hormones of the body. Hops is sprayed heavily. And when you look at something that's organic, it usually only constitutes about 5% of the ingredients by weight. So in beer, hops don't constitute 5% of the ingredients by weight. So you could have an organic brewery that's using typical hops, and you're getting a large load of pesticides, because hops is grown. One of the problems with hops without pesticides is that you're going to get downy mildew, you're going to get mold on the rhizomes, and you're going to get spider mites, aphids, all these other things that are going to eat up your crops. So stay away from alcohol, basically. Stay away from beer and stay away from wine, because wine is more glyphosate load as well, because they spray it as well for the same things. That being said, alcohol bad or not recommended, rather. The everyday toxins. I asked my first neurologist, I went through a series of Western allopathic doctors to try to find out, like, how can I cure myself immediately? Because we're all looking for that quick silver bullet panacea, the genie in a bottle. We're trying to figure out how we can get healthy. As soon as we get sick, we want to get as healthy as fast as possible. but an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So I'm not trying to go back and figure out like what I did wrong and feel bad about myself. I'm trying to figure out how can I reverse course. The thing with brain cancer is it's very difficult to reverse for a lot of reasons, because a lot of the naturopathic solutions don't take well on the body because of the blood-brain barrier being resistant to, and that's a good thing in some capacity because the brain is protected by this barrier, not allowing other toxins in. But at the same time, when you go through chemotherapy and radiation, which I did go through, and I'm not an advocate for, now you can consult your doctor. I'm not going to make any medical claims about anything. I'm just going to share with you my journey. I highly recommend to people who are going through this to take some time and do some research on your own before just going straight for chemotherapy and radiation as your first line of defense, because we're rushed to do that. Because let's face it, when we get a diagnosis of something bad in our lives health-wise, we just want to jump in and take quick action, because it took years probably to get this way. And I asked my first neurologist, I said, how did this happen to me? And his answer was basically he didn't know. So he says, you got dealt a bleep card, and the S word, you got dealt that card in your life. We don't really know. We think it's chromosomal, but I am a firm believer that, they say, genetics loads the gun, but lifestyle pulls the trigger. It's kind of true. Like, I wasn't doing all the things that I knew I should be doing. So I took a complete look at everything that was happening in my life, all of the toxins I was exposed to, and also how I was living my life and how I was thinking about my life and the choices I was making moment to moment. A lot of us aren't present in today's fast-paced society, so we're doing a lot of things not thinking about it. So my encouragement is for people who are living in this fast-paced society that we call America, Canada, and the Western world, just be mindful when we make important decisions, like what we're consuming, what we're putting into our body, and what we are putting onto our body, and even who we are surrounding ourselves with, because it's all energy, it's all energetic. I mean, what we do to one cell is going to be affected by the cells next to it, and it exponentiates. So the way I see it is, okay, I have to do a massive overhaul of my day-to-day and how I'm thinking. So a lot of that involved like personal development. And that's the thing I love about the Purium program, the Purium economy and the community of Purium, is that we are aligning ourselves with like-minded people that are vibrating on a similar frequency, so to speak. It's people from all walks of life, all political leanings, all, spectrums, all with the same common goal, is health at the forefront. Because the people that I work with, they could probably be doing other things and maybe making a lot more money. But when you realize that health is your ultimate wealth, and especially in low of almost losing your health completely and losing your life, then you basically are set with one of two choices. One is, well, I've already got cancer, I've already got this terminal condition, I'm kind of screwed, and I'm just going to keep going down the path. I like drinking Diet Cokes, and I like, I don't really care. So I'm just going to keep going, and I'm not in it for a long time. I'm in it for a good time kind of attitude. Or the other path is, I'm going to radically change my life. A lot of times there's a gradient between those two, because you can make some changes, just like a New Year's resolution kind of change, and then you slide back. And I've had that a lot, like happen with me. When I first got my diagnosis, I went hardcore all in and decided to, kind of take my foot off the pedal, because you get worn out. Healing is a full-time job. Being healthy is a full-time job. And so one of the things I will share with you guys, and you guys already know this, a lot of you, because I see all these people on this line here, like, Kimberly Sanders, Michelle Ricci, Patty Gebhardt, and Amy Kernicki, and all you guys, that you have to read ingredient labels. Most people don't get this at a fundamental level. I don't know if it's unconscious or it's something else, but most people don't even bother to look at what's in the food that they're consuming, or they just kind of glaze over it. They go, oh, they see one little ingredient looks good. This is especially prevalent in beauty care products, because they're not regulated by the Food and Drug Administration. And I don't really give full credence to the FDA either, because we know that in America, politicians are heavily lobbied, and you've got to make a lot of money to be in politics. So really the consumer advocacy groups, while doing their best, don't really have much to do with our final picture of health. It has to do with us and our own advocacy and our family advocacy. So that's what I love about this community of Million Moms, is that we promote family-based advocacy, community advocacy, because if you're surrounded with people that don't really care about their health so much, and what is that going to be for you? Like, we tend to resonate with the people that we surround ourselves with. So just think about that. It doesn't mean we don't have to love that parent or that sibling. It just means that we have to think about, is what they want for me resonant with what I need for myself? And that meant I had lost, not lose, but kind of extricated myself from the vibration of a lot of the friends that I was, around before that. And it's not easy to pull yourself out of that, because the brain's wired to stay where it's familiar. And so looking at ingredients, I say, is probably the most important thing. If you're shopping at a supermarket, grocery store, anything like that, where you're not relying on yourself or a local farmer that you have a deep, intimate relationship with, well, you know what I mean, that's growing the food. You don't know it. You haven't seen the farm. You don't know what you're consuming. Then you have to read labels and you have to search for certain qualifiers. And one of those is obviously the USDA certification of organic. If you have a local state one, like I live in Oregon, the Oregon Tilth is really a great one. One of the higher standards, higher than the USDA. And also with our company, Purium Health Products, we have a higher than organic standard. Our founder, David Sandoval, he was the OG of organic. He was organic before the USDA certification. In fact, he was one of the people that lobbied for the USDA certification of organics here in America. Now, some people will argue, people like to argue anyways. I know I do sometimes, but they'll argue that, well, it's organic, that doesn't mean anything. It does mean something. It definitely means something. It means there's a certain load of organics, of non-organic, genetically modified ingredients that are not going onto your dinner table and that of your family. So while there may be organic Oreo cookies and Snickers and things loaded with sugar that's organic, it's still one bellwether of assessing what is optimal for your health. Our relationship with our food is a big component as well. If you're eating all the organic food in the world and it's healthy for you, but you still have a negative outlook on life and you're not like hopeful, well, how do you think your body and the cells of your body are going to receive that organic nutrition that you're consuming? So this may seem a little esoteric, but I mean, this is where science and spirituality melds itself. Is we have to have a relationship with our food and our cells and all the cells in our body that are keeping us here and helping us to thrive. Because it's like David Sandoval, the co-founder of Purium, said, it's not just about surviving in this world these days, it's about thriving. And we're faced with so many environmental toxins, just to name a few. There's chemicals being sprayed in the atmosphere. There's contamination of our air, water, and soil because of glyphosate that I just mentioned, and people are buying it from hardware stores and spraying it all around. I mean, even if you're the person that's all organic and you're not spraying anything on your yard, you can guarantee that you're going to be in an environment where more than 90% of the people around you aren't aware that they're using these products and endocrine disruptors. And that's another thing I would talk about, is the endocrine disruptors in our world. It's pretty fundamental to think about food. Read the ingredients of the food. Make sure, if you don't know what those ingredients are and you can't pronounce them, stay away from it, or do your own research, look it up. And and also, I don't rely on search engines like Google, because Google, when you look up anything health related, you're going to get 3 results. It's going to be Medical News Today, Healthline, or WebMD. And those 3 are all funded heavily by big pharmaceutical lobby. So they actually have pharmaceutical interests. Same with the big tech companies, the social media companies, all of those have a huge vested interest in promoting pharmaceuticals as the first measure of defense for your health and well-being. So it's hard to know what I do. Just like when you're on social media trying to find news, you see there's a lot of stuff that maybe leans far to the conspiracy side, and you get a lot of stuff that's total propaganda as well. So you have to kind of assess for yourself, intuition. Does this feel good to me? Is this something that I feel good when I eat it? and kind of take inventory. A good way for me to do that in my experience is for fasting. And Purium helps to promote a level of fasting, which I like. It's like flooding your body with a low caloric intake of high nutrition, highly nutritious, enzyme rich, mineral rich foods. And that's a great way of like getting to a baseline, like a completely vegan juice, organic juice cleanse is a great way of doing it, because then you're ridding your body of like bioaccumulation of a lot of the microplastics. I don't, you guys probably know this, but the average American consumes about a credit card size worth of microplastics in 1 week. Think about all the things that we consume, the cups that have polyethylene paper composite. When you get a to-go cup from your local Starbucks or any coffee and tea place, we don't think about it. We think it's just paper. It's not. It's made with polyethylene composite because the cup would just fall apart if it was just paper from the hot liquid. And when you put the hot beverage into that polyethylene, there's going to be leaching of microplastics. And even in bottled waters, everything that comes in plastic is going to affect you because you're going to be consuming that from its leaching into your foods. So try to do everything in glass and stainless steel. And that's where Purium's another thing. Another reason why I love Purium so much is because the plastic-free initiative. We're moving all of our products this year into compostable and biodegradable, not just like some of those utensils where they have to be treated with heat, like some of these corn-based forks and knives that they are technically compostable. We actually have these hemp, bamboo, and tree sap composite packs called Terra pouches, where you can just use the product and bury it in the ground. It actually adds nutrition to the soil, and you're creating no waste. You're actually adding nutrition to the earth, and you can feel good about it. Because think about every micro decision that we make throughout the course of our day and throughout the course of our life, it accumulates and it bioaccumulates in our life and in our health. So we have to not be catabolic in our thinking about every little thing I could do. Oh my God, am I going to step on an ant? Am I going to, do all these things that's going to hurt somebody? But being as thoughtful as we can on a day-to-day basis. And for one thing, you can make small changes, like, get rid of stop buying like plastic bags. And fortunately where I live, you have to pay if you want a bag, and they don't even allow plastic in my county. That's great. But in most communities in America, they don't have compost. The trash collectors don't come and take your compost and separate it. So you have to do all these little things. But starting with your own health, you can't just decide that, I'm going to just eat organic food, it's healthy, but it comes in a plastic like clamshell container, like those Green Girl salad blends. And the more you learn about these things, you learn, okay, this has been washed with chlorine, and because they're afraid of bacteria infection in the food. So what's worse, eating a little bit of dirt or having chemical sanitizers in your life? And I look everywhere I go, you see it at the airports, every restaurant these days, it seems, has Purell and Clorox. You put it on your hands, you're going to get rid of the entire biome. So antibiotic, it sounds like a good thing when you're like, I need some antibiotics because I got some infection. But I like to focus more on probiotics. You can add in the things that are going to change our life. Just like in Purium, we focus on it's addition by subtraction or subtraction by addition. When you start putting more health and better decisions into your life, those bad foods or not so healthy ingredients will start to leave your life. And you'll see that happen with people too. If you're surrounding yourself with people who are not in favor of your best health and wellness, you're probably not going to be spending as much time with you, or they'll kind of organically move out of your field. I wanted to bring in Veronica, my friend Veronica Beltran, because she is amazing and she is a woman. And so the Million Mom movement is all about the woman as a figurehead of the family. I mean, I'm just honored to be here as a male, but Veronica is a mother, and she is a super proponent of all of these things. And she's going to talk a little bit about the makeup and beauty industry and household cleaning products. And I know some people think this is misogynistic to bring it to a woman to say this, but she actually has these decisions every day as a mom and the head of her family, a single mom who has raised 2 kids. So Veronica, are you out there?
Okay, there, I'm unmuted now. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Thank you, Angelo. Thank you for sharing your story. It always inspires me to be better. This month is going to be 3 years that I found Purium, or Purium found me. And I'm so blessed and grateful for that, because it's definitely, I've always been this, I was conscious about health, trying to do my best. And as a single mom, I limited myself to some things. I remember thinking I couldn't afford organic because at one point my budget for the week for groceries was $25. So it was out of the question. I go, there's no way, how am I gonna go buy those organic apples or bananas? And I probably could have if I knew then what I know now. But I am a health and wellness advocate, and I am a benzo survivor. And if anybody on here knows what a benzo is, it's benzodiazepines or Ativan, or those medications used to treat anxiety and depression. It's been 3 years that I weaned myself off with the help of these amazing superfoods, these amazing regenerative foods that we have. Over a decade, I was taking Ativan to control panic attacks. One day out of the blue, I woke up in this full-blown panic attack. I'm thinking I'm having a heart attack. I didn't know what was going on. I guess the way that I had lived all my life caught up to me. And I ended up for a whole decade trying to manage this anxiety and panic attacks. So I remember around 4 years ago at least, I started thinking I can't keep taking these medications. I don't want to do this anymore. I would ask the psychiatrist, how do I get off of this medication? And they would hand me another medication. And I thought that was ridiculous. I said, there's got to be a better way. So I started searching. And this is when somehow I found Angelo and Troy were sharing on a live about these foods, these powder foods. At that time, I had already started searching, and I was eating healthier. I had lost about 30 pounds on my own, just exercising, being real mindful about that. So I thought, what are these powder foods going to do for me, right? But I heard the detox. I didn't know about detoxification and the necessity, the need for that. I thought, well, our body does that, right? But like we've heard it many times before, 100 years ago, that would have been true. I wouldn't have needed an aid to detox my body because all food was organic. And now I wasn't eating organic at the time. And forget that part. Now that I realized, like, it's not just the food, like Angela shared all about the food. But once I started detoxing and my mind started opening up to this, the fog really was clearing from my mind, is how I see it. I started searching more. I'm so proud of our company for the packaging that we have. So I would think about that. Okay, well, wait a minute, I need to get rid of this. So little by little, I was getting rid of those things. I started slowly with my pantry, with a lot of help from Angelo, because he's been a good friend, and he's always shared, read the ingredients, and I'll call him, hey, what about this thing? I Google, you Google, but I know he knows a lot of these things, so I will call, and little by little, I was able to clean my pantry. I would replace when something, finished up. I couldn't, as a single mom, just throw everything away, although I wanted to. Some things I did because I thought this is definitely poison, it's gotta go, just throw it out. So little by little, I was able to clean that, clean the fridge, everything that came in. So that now it's like everything organic. Then a few years ago, like maybe 2 years ago, I started thinking, that's 2 years ago, because my gray started coming out, and I started thinking, I was still coloring my hair, and I thought, I'm tired of coloring my hair. And then I said, what about these poisonous, these chemicals in this? Oh, I can't do that anymore. So I started letting my grays come out, and now they're my full, and one day I just chopped it off because I was tired of having those two colors. And so now I let that out. I started looking at the shampoos, and I know I'm not sharing anything that anybody here, hasn't shared. This community here has also been real instrumental in opening my eyes. I love attending these calls and on Fridays and learning more things on how, to clean our home, our environment, how to cook healthier. Like I said, I raised two young men. They're young men now. And I if I would have known what I know now, then things would have been a little bit different for them. But I thank God that, they were covered. They're now, like, they've seen me in the last 2 years, and little by little, they're changing things. I have an older son who doesn't live here, but he would drink Gatorade, and when I started learning about it, you need to stop drinking that. I would tell him, oh, Mom, whatever. But now he's like, hey, Mom, he'll call me and ask me about, what about this ingredient? So he's doing what I was calling Angelo about ingredients. He's calling me now. And so I'm really excited to see that change. Also, as a woman, we're constantly like bombarded with these unrealistic expectations of beauty. And I also stopped using makeup because I thought, well, what is beauty? Like, beauty doesn't mean if you wear makeup, that's great. I see women that look beautiful, and I'm sure they would look beautiful without it also, But for me, I've always been real simple. So I was so excited when I finally decided that, what, I don't need makeup to feel beautiful, and I know for my mom would forever say, when are you coloring that hair? When are you dyeing? I go, never, Mom, don't you know how long this took to get this way, And I know one of these days she'll stop coloring her hair, but yes. So for me, like the ingredients in any of the makeups, even our skincare. I have a dear friend who is an Ayurvedic practitioner. She creates my skincare. But mostly my skincare involved are CBD and frankincense, because frankincense is very healing and has a lot of beneficial properties for the skin, not only for our health, but for the skin also, for the tone, the wrinkles, blemishes, brown spots, and combined with our CBD oil. That's been my main skincare. So I do that for my face. Recently, I shared with Angelo the detergent that I was using was a cleaner detergent. But one day I went into the garage and I looked and I saw that bottle and it hit me. I thought, oh my gosh, you need to stop. You need to stop. I go, that's a big old plastic bottle. Where is it going to go? And I said, that was the last day. And I even said, I go, this is the last time you will not buy. So I've been, I'm trying different things, but I'm trying to find things that are in compostable packaging, just like how our beautiful superfoods are in, so I'm trying to, do that in every aspect. And I know that it's a constant learning and growing, and I'm just real grateful to be part of this community again, because this is where I'm learning most of this. And I know that as I, better myself and my children, and then that's going to make it better for their children and their children. And I'm just really grateful for this opportunity. And thank you for having me here.
Wow, thank you both so much. You're getting so much love in the comments, so please take a look in there. So many golden nuggets here. I really want to thank you, Angelo, for bringing the male perspective in, especially as a brewer. This is like through the 90s. This is when, breweries became really popular and things like this. So I think it's important that, yeah, we are the Million Mom movement. We're the movement of many. So we really are about everybody on the planet that is concerned about these things. So it's really beautiful and really important. And want to give some solutions. I have a favorite. Of course, our line of nutrients are not isolates. They're not manufactured. They're guaranteed not to have any parts per billion of any fillers or any dyes or any GMOs or any pathogens really whatsoever, pesticides and herbicides. There's a great website called Ecoccasion. It's EC and then the word occasion, OCCASION. And they have things like wool dryer balls that are organic that you can use instead of fabric softener or dryer sheets. They have laundry sheets that you can get a box of them for around $120, and it's well over a year's supply. It comes in a small cardboard box and they're fully biodegradable. They have sponges that are organic and things like that. I think it's important that this conversation about the bioaccumulation of these toxins in our lives. Yes, it's the dietary damage, and it's what we're putting on and in our body. And we always talk about this advocacy every day of voting with our dollar and really looking at, like she was talking about with like, wow, I just looked at that plastic bottle one day and thought, I'm just using it once and it's getting thrown away. And how can we continue to be activists in our own lives for our own families? And so, there's sunscreen, and, our pink razors are $4 more than a man's razor that's the same. So there's a lot of marketing to us based on our gender or our age. And I think that's really important. And I'd like to, touch a little bit more on that and see about making these conscious decisions. Angelo, do you have more to say about, just how can we be present to this in a way that supports us and the planet and our families, and some solutions to moving forward here?
Thank you, Michelle. Great points that you made there. I would say one starting point is to just realize that corporations, all of them, are in business to make money. And so the more things they can be sold on, the more money they can make. So you don't just need a shampoo, you need a conditioner too. You don't need a conditioner, you don't need a detergent, you need a fabric softener, you need a dryer sheet, you need all of these things. And I know 50 years ago or less, there was household solutions for all of this that were non-toxic. I like to wash my clothes with white vinegar. You don't need to be using harsh chemicals like Veronica says. Think about all those Ecos and Arm & Hammer. And a lot of these companies, we don't realize they're trusted name brands that we've known for years, but now they've been purchased by larger parent companies like Procter and Gamble and all. So they don't even say on the packaging who's the parent company. So you have to do research for yourself on that as well. But it's like choosing non-packaging. There's a lot of greenwashing going on in our society. It's omnipresent. The greenwashing is a huge business. I mean, I just know when I flew to California, I got a snack on Alaska Airlines, and it looked like, oh, the packaging is so nice. It's got this like nice matte finishing. It says woman-owned company, non-GMO. Great. You look at the ingredients, canola oil, is salt, sugar, all this other stuff, and other ingredients you can't pronounce. So reading the ingredients, always huge. Look at the packaging. Where's it going to go after you're done with it? Like, think about that. If you can think about that, I can promise you'll make less decisions that are just based on, well, I want this harmless harvest, right? How harmless is that, right? So I'm not saying don't do these things. I'm just saying be mindful, like how many plastic bottles are you putting back into the earth? It's like we have this kind of mindset where it's out of sight, out of mind, and we don't think about it. And there's a small group of people who work with these corporations that are going to tell you that you're crazy. What, you don't use deodorant? What, you don't use shampoo? No, I don't. And I don't smell bad at all. I smell lovely. I use essential oils. And, if I want to put something on my skin, I'm going to put organic coconut oil on my skin, organic jojoba oil, or argan oil. I don't need to put anything on my skin that needs preservatives, that needs fillers and excipients in it. Why? You're being sold on an idea of health and wellness. It's not actually helping you. It's not actually healthy for you. And it's disrupting your endocrine system, your hormonal balance. So taking all of these things, I won't even get into birth control, but you guys know that that's toxic. Anything that disrupts your hormones in your body, and also where it's being applied, especially prevalent to women, because, you know, women have more lymph and fatty tissue on the body, that if you're putting deodorant and it has parabens and it has aluminum in it, and even if it doesn't, if it's blocking your pores in your body, it's going to create some kind of disruption in your endocrine system and your lymphatic flow. So the less, the better. The way I look at it is God doesn't make mistakes when he designed a human being. God didn't make Adam and Eve and then make, you know, a shampoo and conditioner for Adam and Eve. Like everything they needed was in the Garden of Eden. It wasn't coming from Procter and Gamble, and it wasn't coming from these corporations that are basically, they're not, their mind is maybe better than some of the other stuff that's been traditionally available, but wherever they can cut corners, any company that's owned by, say, Nestle, like a Garden of Life company that most people don't know is Nestle, they may have that USDA certification of organic, but how organic are they? And what is the integrity of the company? That's what I look at. Like if you have, you know, we can use like Procter and Gamble as an example, or Nestle, or any of these companies. They have a huge portfolio of cleaners and foods and all kinds of stuff. And they may have a couple of organic, healthy things. Like, for example, there's Annie's. Everybody thinks that's a nice family-owned company, right? It's owned by General Mills, the same company that's a huge glyphosate offender. And the bottom line is money. It's, you know, it's money for these big companies. The only reason these companies buy up these other companies because these little companies are a threat to their bottom line. People will start buying them, just like Primal Kitchen. Great, there's no sugar in their condiments. That's great, but most people don't know. Again, another major corporation buying out these little corporations. So best to support your community. Shop at farmers markets if you're not going to grow your own. If you don't have a farmers market, just get on the Purium lifestyle, because there's not too much fast food integrity out there, nothing with shelf stability, and nothing that's loaded with minerals and enzymes. So you can use foods as your beauty care, because what you eat, that is your beauty care. And what you slather on to your skin and rub under your armpits and wherever you're putting stuff, you know, that's going to end up in your bloodstream. And so think about that. It's about your blood, the living water, you know, of your life. And if you can make those better micro decisions throughout the course of your day, start wherever you can. Start with, I'm just going to buy organic. And if you can't afford, if you say have this mindset of I cannot afford organic, then you really need to reassess your life. That's my bottom line. And it's not to shame anybody, like fast more. If you can't afford food, you're obviously prioritizing your money somewhere else. Maybe it's Netflix, maybe it's a car payment, maybe it's your cell phone payment. But what's more important than your life and your food and your nutrition and your health? So it's about reframing, you know, everything in your life around your health and optimizing it. That's basically my message, is make the best decisions you can and keep educating yourself, because as soon as we get educated and hip to what's going on, these corporations are going to find another way to greenwash it or put some kind of vaccine into your food. So you've got to be really, really careful about what you're consuming and know the integrity of the parent company that it's coming from. And try to reduce some of those beauty care products that you're using. I told this to my mother. She's like, got all this sodium lauryl sulfate and stuff in her cleaners. I'm like, Mom, you don't want to take that because that's gonna harm you. You don't need it. You just go rub the inside of an avocado, a watermelon, or a mango on your face, or do something like that. And my mom doesn't wear makeup either, and she let her hair go without coloring as well. So I'm very proud of my family and my friends and myself for doing these things, because it's not easy. It's old habits die hard. But with community, surrounding yourself in a community like this Purium community we have here, I don't know too many people that are taking experimental shots and doing all these other things when they're well informed. So I'm so grateful for you guys. I really appreciate this opportunity. I'm so blessed. I hope you guys keep showing up for these Million Mom calls on Fridays at 11 a.m. Pacific time, because I've learned so much from all of these women and men on these calls, that you learn something new every week. So thank you so much, Michelle, Naiva, and everyone else on the call.
Amazing, Angelo. Yeah, and thank you. And you know, we are far more capable of healing than anybody has ever taught us to believe. We're born with a skin of colostrum, and it's the first thing that gets wiped off. And if we're conscious as mothers and we're educated, we can let the baby absorb that into their skin and put, their the colostrum from the milk, but the coating on the skin that they have. And it really sets us up. That's our innate immune system. And we truly are far more capable of healing. So when you go outside, my skincare routine, I'll use aloe, a piece of aloe plant. We have an amazing 40x liquid aloe in this company. I love to put that on my skin, especially my face. It has reversed the 11s in the middle of my eyebrows have reversed, and some of our products really help with that. Sunscreen, you can take the super xanthian, eat a lot of carrots. You can put carrot on you. There's lots of ways to protect yourself from the sun. Wear a hat, and the sun at certain times is actually beneficial to our skin. We have an amazing Wednesday call that Dave did recently about that. We're going to be putting this in the Million Mom Movement official, this replay, and we can also link that in there. As far as sunscreens, you can wear swim shirts, and just look at your clothing, whether it's been treated. Bug spray, essential oils are amazing. Just knowing what time the bugs are high, it's usually a little bit in the morning and a little bit in the evening, and wearing something long or putting a shawl on or lightweight pants can even protect you from bugs. We don't need to be slathering and spraying ourselves and our children with these toxins that are ultimately getting into the water, but more importantly, disrupting our system on the inside. And so, Naiva, I'd love to bring you up. And one thing I did want to talk about, I saw in the comments, was about our carbon footprint. And, we, as the Plastic Free Packaging Alliance that has just been created, and Dave's mission for a plastic-free world, not just recycling, but starting from the beginning to connect people with Plastic Free Packaging Alliance, we've partnered with one of the carbon collectives that talk about the carbon footprint. And our company actually gets money back, by buying Purium and by using companies that are plastic free. They're actually getting money back from the carbon exchange, and so you're contributing to that. And so, Naiva, I was thinking maybe you can talk for a couple of minutes about that, and then close us out and tell us how everybody can stay in touch with these replays and with our events coming up.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Michelle. What a great presentation today. Thank you, Veronica and Angelo, for everything that you shared. We had such an incredible feedback from everybody here in the community that has watched this recording today. And, we are so proud to be a part of this company where we are making a difference on the planet, not only in our own health, but in the health of our community. And what other company do you know that you get paid to help other people get healthy, and you get paid to help other people to change the trajectory of their life financially, and you're making a huge impact on the planet with our plastic-free packaging? And so Dave created a Plastic-Free Packaging Alliance last year. He created this packaging first for our company, and it all started when there was a demand from us, from the community, that really wanted to see our products in a plastic-free packaging, because that was our biggest feedback was, hey, we have an amazing product, but it comes in this plastic packaging. And although we are similar to, a lot of other products that come in a similar packaging, our product, what's inside, is so different because we don't have any of the fillers and binders and excipients and all of those things. And so he really did want to stand by the quality of the product and create this packaging that we could put our product inside of and really do something better for the planet. And so when he went to the companies that create packaging, there just wasn't a packaging that was available to us. And so he set himself forward and invested in creating this plastic-free packaging that is compostable and that does replenish our soil, which is absolutely incredible. And instead of just patenting it and keeping it for Purium so that we could be the only company out there that has this incredible packaging, he actually put it on the market so other people could align with this and use it in their companies. The next problem that we encountered is that a lot of people, it's the cost. that it, the big investment that it takes when you switch from plastic to plastic-free packaging, there's a lot of barriers that we have to cross. And with these companies, a lot of it comes down to the bottom line of how much they have to invest to get their packaging switched over to plastic-free. And so I was able to introduce Dave to one of my colleagues who is the CEO of the Carbon Market Exchange. And what she does is she goes around the world and she helps communities plant trees and do all kinds of different innovative things to offset the carbon footprint of huge companies like gasoline companies, for example, that use way more carbon footprint than they're allotted and have to pay into the Carbon Market Exchange yearly because they're using an excessive amount of carbon. And so when you come back to our packaging and our company and what we've done, we get to offset that cost. And we're now able to help other companies offset that cost as well. So they can invest in plastic-free packaging and they can offset the cost of that investment with the Carbon Market Exchange, which is just this phenomenal, step in removing the barriers that we have in being able to transition. And through the Plastic-Free Packaging Alliance, that he's taken a step further where people don't have to invest in 100,000 packages or units of the packaging that they need. We now are able to be the middleman and help them invest in maybe 5 or 10,000. And because we're able to invest in these packaging for hundreds of companies, we can buy that 100,000 units and distribute it to several different companies and bring their bottom line down even more and just really make it more accessible for people. So this is something I'm extremely passionate about and so proud of our company for, investing their money into creating this innovative solution. And so thank you so much, Michelle, for asking me to share on that. And it's something that we've had the honor this last year to be a part of that solution as well and be a part of, creating a ripple effect at the Natural Products Expo and being able to share that solution with so many companies. And Michelle was able to be there along with Taz Ferreira and myself and so many others that came and volunteered their time and was able to be a part of that. And I know also Kimberly Sanders is here today, and she was a huge donor to that movement as well. And so we really appreciate everybody that has been a part of this and really helped us to, make that movement move forward. And so if you have a company that you love and you want to help them transition, then reach out to them and align them with the Plastic-Free Packaging Alliance. And there's an application form on there where they can let us know what they want. And the person that works through that nonprofit will reach out to them and help them transition to plastic-free packaging and offer them some solutions. So I also want to just share some announcements. So this coming Friday, many of us are going to be at Diamond Club in Los Angeles. I'm already here waiting to see you all and greet you all here. And we're going to be covering a head to toe from Diamond Club. And so we are going to be inviting leaders that are here on Friday at 11 a.m. to come and meet up with me. We're going to have a meeting location. So if you're here on Friday morning, then reach out to me, let me know you're here. And we're going to have a meeting location where you can all come and share your head to toe tips with our community. So every week on Friday, we have a Fierce Friday where we share different hot topics and in the news pieces. And we're so excited to be joining you this week from Diamond Club here in Los Angeles. So I look forward to seeing you there. Sending it back to you, Michelle.
Thank you so much. You can find us, the Million Mom Movement, on Instagram. You can find us at the Million Mom Movement official Facebook page, where we will share replays and all of the pieces and everything that we talk about. We have a host of places. Naiva's going to put it up now. Please make sure. And if you are excited about this call, if you go live, if you create a reel, something about your families, be sure to tag us, hashtag Million Mom Movement. I am the Million Mom Movement, and we are the Million Mom Movement. And we are the Million Mom Movement. We're the movement of many. And it's so exciting to be here with you. Very special thanks to Veronica Beltran and of course Angelo Dieso. We're so honored to be walking side by side on this mission with you both and all of you watching the replay. Thanks again, and we'll go ahead and stop recording so everybody can say goodbye. And